Hello, this is Matthew from Successful Iraqis in America. Today I decided to start a video series about stock market. So the series will include a bunch of videos. We're gonna start from level 1 and then go up to level 2, 3, 4 until we reach level 100. So the first video is gonna be very simple, basic for beginners. Okay. Now let's talk about stock market. What is stock? Did you ask yourself what does a stock mean? Okay, let's give an example. Let's say, for instance, uh, a gentleman called Joe. That Joe is professional. He knows how to cook. His food is really amazing, and he decided to open a project of a restaurant, right? The problem is, poor Joe. He only has $10,000, and that project will need $100,000. What is Joe gonna do? Is he gonna go to the bank and borrow $90,000 to the project? Well, Joe was smarter than that. What he decided to do is he talked to some of his friends to tell them this project is going to be amazing. I know how to cook food, and I know customers are going to come. This project is going to be the best. So why don't you join me in this project? So what he did, he was able to make 10 of his friends or 9 of his friends join him in the project. Let's say each one of those people invested $10,000. Now Joe was able to collect the $100,000 he needed to create that project, right? So let's say, for instance, that project, which we said is $100,000, the company, let's say, has 100 shares. I mean, in truth, it's not going to be 100. It's going to be way more than 100 shares. But just to make it simple and easy to calculate, let's say only 100 shares. So each person who invested in that company invested $10,000, 10,000, which is 10%, 10%, 10%. So each person is going to have 10% of the company, of the shares, right? Of the stock. That means each person is going to have 10 stocks, right? Because the company has 100 stocks. So each stock will equal $1,000, right? Let's say Joe did great job. The project went fantastic. Later, the restaurant started growing. He added more food, and the project started growing very well. Later, 1 or 2 years later, the value of the project increased from only 100,000. It turned to 200,000. Let's say a year or 2 years later. So what's going to happen to the stock value? The stock will continue just equal $100,000. Don't forget, the whole project in the beginning was 100,000. Now it equals 200,000. So that 200,000 is going to get splitted between all those 100 shares. Now each share will not equal 100,000 anymore. I mean, not equal $1,000 anymore. It will equal how much? Correct, $2,000 now. So those who invested at the beginning are so happy. They doubled their money, and it was a great investment. Let's say Joe did a mistake and start selling bad products, and the media starts talking bad about his restaurant, and then it started crashing. Let's say it crashed from $200,000, it dropped to $50,000. 50,000, sorry. What's going to happen to the stock value? It's also going to crash. The stock, instead of starting from 1,000, went up to 2,000. Now it's going to crash. Will go down to $500. Wow. All right. Now the other question will be, when you talk about stock market, now it's a project between Joe and his friends. How can we invest in that project? What's the difference here? Okay, there's a term called initial public offering. That means the stock, instead of at the beginning it was private and only Joe and his friends can invest in that project, and you have to call Joe in person. Hey Joe, I would like to buy 5 of your stocks, please. That's a private company. Now it's gonna become a public company. Now that means anyone can invest in that company or buy or sell those stocks. So that's the difference. Okay, I hope that will be easy and make the idea of stock very simple, because we're gonna go forward to way more info. The next video is gonna be about 30 to 40 terms that I prefer everyone to know about stock, because if you know all those terms, the stock world will be very easy, simple for you. So wait for the next video. Have a good night.